This is going to blow your mind. The geopolitical landscape is often a tangled web of alliances, enmities, and strategic interests. Few relationships are as intricate and fraught with tension as the one between the United States, Iran, and Israel. The US, Iran, and Israel share one of the most complex relationships in geopolitics. This triangle influences the entire Middle East and, by extension, the world. The US and Israel have been close allies for decades, sharing military and economic ties. This alliance is built on shared democratic values and mutual strategic interests. Iran, however, has had a tumultuous relationship with both. The 1979 Iranian Revolution turned Iran from a US ally to an adversary, adopting a vehemently anti-American and anti-Israeli stance. Iran's leaders have frequently called for the destruction of the Israeli state, and the two countries have been engaged in a shadow war for decades. The US has imposed sanctions on Iran aiming to limit its nuclear program. These sanctions have had a significant impact on Iran's economy. Israel sees Iran's nuclear ambitions as a direct threat, leading to covert operations and cyber attacks to disrupt Iran's nuclear program. Despite these tensions, there are moments of diplomacy, such as the 2015 JCPOA, which saw Iran agree to limit its nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. Stay tuned for more geopolitical insights. Understanding the dynamics of the US-Iran-Israel triangle is crucial for anyone interested in global politics. We'll keep you updated with the latest developments and in-depth analysis. To truly grasp the depth of this triangle, we need to look back at the historical context. The US and Iran were once close allies, with the US supporting the Shah of Iran. However, the 1979 Iranian Revolution changed everything. The revolution led to the establishment of the Islamic Republic, which took a staunchly anti-American and anti-Israeli stance. This shift set the stage for decades of hostility and conflict. The US Embassy hostage crisis in 1979 was a pivotal moment that solidified the adversarial relationship between the US and Iran. Iranian leaders have since used anti-American and anti-Israeli rhetoric to bolster their domestic support. Over the years, the US has maintained a significant military presence in the Middle East, often clashing with Iranian forces. Meanwhile, Israel has conducted numerous military operations to counter perceived Iranian threats. Iran's nuclear program has been a major point of contention. The international community, led by the US and Israel, has expressed concerns over Iran's potential to develop nuclear weapons. The 2015 JCPOA was a landmark agreement aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions. In exchange for lifting economic sanctions, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear activities and allow international inspections. However, in 2018, the US withdrew from the JCPOA, citing concerns over Iran's compliance and regional behavior. This move led to the reimposition of sanctions and increased tensions. The renewed sanctions have had a profound impact on Iran's economy, leading to widespread protests and economic hardships. Iranian leaders have vowed to resist US pressure and continue their nuclear program. Israel, on the other hand, has continued its efforts to counter Iran's nuclear ambitions through covert operations and cyber attacks. The shadow war between the two nations shows no signs of abating. Despite the ongoing tensions, there are still efforts to find a diplomatic solution. International summits and negotiations continue, with the hope of achieving lasting peace and stability in the region. Understanding the US-Iran-Israel triangle is crucial for anyone interested in global politics. Stay tuned for more in-depth analysis and updates on this complex and ever-evolving relationship. Understanding the US-Iran-Israel triangle requires examining proxy wars. These indirect conflicts are key to their strategies and have shaped the geopolitical landscape of the region for decades. Proxy wars allow these nations to exert influence without direct confrontation, making them a preferred method of engagement. By supporting various groups and factions, they can achieve their objectives while avoiding the risks of open warfare. Iran, for instance, supports groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen. This support includes financial aid, military training, and weaponry, enabling these groups to act as Iran's proxies in the region. Hezbollah has been a significant player in Lebanon, often clashing with Israeli forces and influencing Lebanese politics. The Houthis, on the other hand, have been a major force in the Yemeni civil war, challenging the Saudi-backed government. Israel, in response, employs a range of tactics including covert operations and cyber attacks. One of the most notable examples is the Stuxnet virus, which targeted Iran's nuclear facilities, significantly delaying their nuclear program. The United States also plays a crucial role in these proxy wars. By backing rebel groups in Syria, the US aims to counter both Iranian influence and the Assad regime, which is supported by Russia and Iran. These proxy wars, however, come with severe humanitarian impacts. The conflicts have led to widespread destruction, displacement, and loss of life, creating a humanitarian crisis in many parts of the Middle East. Refugee camps are overflowing, and cities lie in ruins, highlighting the devastating consequences of these indirect conflicts. The international community continues to grapple with the challenges of providing aid and finding lasting solutions. As we delve deeper into the US-Iran-Israel triangle, it's crucial to understand the motivations and strategies behind these proxy wars. They are not just military engagements but also political maneuvers that shape the region's future. Stay tuned for more analysis on this complex and ever-evolving geopolitical triangle. We'll explore the historical context, current developments, and potential future scenarios in the following chapters. Having delved into the intricacies of proxy wars, we now turn our attention to another crucial aspect of the US-Iran-Israel triangle, the economic and cyber dimensions of this conflict. These are arenas where the battle for supremacy is waged in a less visible but equally impactful manner. Economic sanctions are one of the primary tools used by the United States to exert pressure on Iran. These sanctions are designed to cripple Iran's economy, limiting its ability to fund its nuclear program and support for militant groups. Over the years, the US has implemented a series of stringent sanctions targeting Iran's oil exports, banking sector, and other critical industries. These measures have had a profound impact on the Iranian economy, leading to inflation, unemployment, and a decline in living standards for ordinary Iranians. The country has sought to develop alternative trade routes and partnerships, particularly with nations less aligned with US policies. This includes strengthening economic ties with countries like China and Russia, which have provided critical lifelines to Iran's sanctioned economy. Israel, on the other hand, has leveraged its technological prowess to counter Iranian influence through cyber warfare. One notable incident was the deployment of the Stuxnet virus, a sophisticated cyber weapon that targeted Iran's nuclear facilities. This attack, widely attributed to Israeli and possibly US intelligence agencies, significantly disrupted Iran's nuclear program and demonstrated the potential of cyber operations to achieve strategic objectives without traditional military intervention. Cyber warfare, however, is a double-edged sword. Iran has also developed its own cyber capabilities, launching attacks on critical infrastructure in Israel and the US. These cyber skirmishes have become a new front in the conflict, with both sides continually evolving their tactics and defenses. Economic sanctions, trade alliances, and cyber operations illustrate how the conflict transcends conventional military engagements, extending into the financial systems and digital realms that underpin modern society. Understanding the economic and cyber dimensions provides a more comprehensive picture of the US-Iran-Israel triangle, highlighting the diverse tactics and strategies that define this complex relationship. Stay tuned for more in-depth analysis and updates on the evolving dynamics of this critical geopolitical triangle. While the economic and cyber dimensions of the US-Iran-Israel conflict reveal the strategic and tactical maneuvers of these nations, it is crucial to address another often overlooked aspect: the humanitarian impact on civilians. In this chapter, we explore how ordinary people bear the brunt of these geopolitical tensions. Economic sanctions, though aimed at crippling a nation's capabilities, often lead to severe hardships for the civilian population. In Iran, these sanctions have resulted in widespread inflation, making basic necessities like food and medicine increasingly unaffordable. The healthcare sector, in particular, has suffered due to restrictions on importing medical supplies, leading to shortages that can be life-threatening for those in need of critical care. Beyond the economic hardships, the psychological toll on the civilian population is immense. The constant threat of cyber attacks and the pervasive fear of military escalation create an environment of uncertainty and anxiety. For many in Iran, Israel, and even the US, the threat of a sudden escalation into open conflict is a daily reality, affecting their mental well-being and overall quality of life. In Israel, the threat of missile attacks from Iranian-backed militant groups has led to the construction of bomb shelters and frequent air raid drills. These measures, while necessary for safety, disrupt daily life and instill a sense of perpetual insecurity among the populace. The constant state of alert can be particularly traumatic for children, who grow up in an environment where conflict feels inevitable. Similarly, in Iran, the government's focus on circumventing sanctions and developing cyber capabilities often diverts resources from essential public services. This diversion exacerbates the already challenging living conditions, leading to a decline in public infrastructure and services that are crucial for the well-being of the population. Moreover, the proxy wars in the region have devastating effects on civilian populations in countries like Syria, Yemen, and Lebanon. These conflicts, fueled by the larger geopolitical struggle, result in loss of life, displacement, and humanitarian crises that ripple through the region. Civilians are caught in the crossfire, facing the dual threats of violence and economic instability. As we delve into the humanitarian impact of the US-Iran-Israel triangle, it becomes evident that the consequences of this geopolitical struggle extend far beyond the political and military spheres. The lives of ordinary people are profoundly affected, with long-term implications for their health, safety, and well-being. By understanding the human cost of these conflicts, we can better appreciate the urgency of seeking diplomatic solutions and mitigating the impact on civilian populations. It is a reminder that behind every strategic maneuver and policy decision, there are real lives at stake, and the pursuit of peace and stability must always prioritize the welfare of the people caught in the crossfire. Stay with us as we continue to explore the multifaceted dimensions of the US-Iran-Israel triangle, offering insights into the strategies, consequences, and human stories that define this complex geopolitical landscape. To fully grasp the complexities of the US-Iran-Israel triangle, we need to take a step back and understand the historical context that has shaped these relationships. The roots of this geopolitical conflict can be traced back decades, influenced by a series of pivotal events and decisions. The US-Iran relationship took a dramatic turn in 1979 with the Iranian Revolution, which saw the overthrow of the US-backed Shah and the establishment of the Islamic Republic. The subsequent hostage crisis further strained relations, leading to decades of mutual distrust and antagonism. This period also witnessed the Iran-Iraq War, during which the US provided support to Iraq, further deepening the rift with Iran. Meanwhile, Israel's creation in 1948 and its subsequent conflicts with neighboring Arab states set the stage for its complex relationship with Iran. The 2000s saw the emergence of Iran's nuclear program as a major point of contention. The US and Israel have consistently opposed Iran's nuclear ambitions, fearing it could lead to the development of nuclear weapons. As we look to the future, the implications of this triangle are profound. The evolving nature of cyber warfare and the persistent threat of proxy wars mean that the US-Iran-Israel conflict will likely continue to shape regional and global security. The potential for diplomatic breakthroughs remains, but so does the risk of escalation into more direct confrontations. Thank you for joining us in this exploration. Stay tuned for more insights as we continue to delve into the intricate dynamics of global geopolitics.